6 minutes after 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. We have a car. We have a couple things now called Tesla. And Nikolai Tesla was a name that we heard, gosh, years ago. But it seemed like nobody had heard of that name before. And now sort of kind of he's starting to have a name familiar to many of us. And we've looked into the history of the man and the science and all of that. There are lots of people who have contributed to the rest of us, and for some reason or another, we just never heard about them. The book that covers this, I think she's got 10 scientists in here. I can't remember. The book is called Lost Science, Astonishing Tales of Forgotten Genius. Kitty Ferguson has done such a great job. I wish we had a longer interview. But obviously the best thing to do would be to read the book. Again, it's called Lost Science. Kitty is a consultant, by the way, for Stephen Hawking's book, The Universe in a Nutshell. You didn't think Stephen Hawking needed a consultant, did you?
No, this is awesome.
She's a lecturer whose appearances include the Goddard Space Flight Center, the Nobel Peace Prize Forum, the Hayden Planetarium in New York City, where I went to as a kid on a field trip. And I fell in love with planetariums right there. Kitty Ferguson. Good morning, Kitty. How are you?
Good morning. It's nice to talk with you.
I don't know which one of these scientists I want to ask you about more, but they're all fascinating. How did you find them, and are they common knowledge to somebody who studies these things, first of all?
Not so much. When I started looking around for unknown stories, obviously not completely unknown, I canvassed all my science friends in England, where I live part of the year, in Cambridge there, and in America for, little leads that they remembered from their early study of science or that they'd run into in their fields. And once I'd chosen my scientists, I did run this list by sort of the same type of people, saying, have you ever heard of such and such?
Yeah.
And you'd find, somebody in the field of atomic science knew Lisa Meitner. Other people didn't.
Oh, Lisa Meitner.
I had to kind of make... Yeah,
I was going to focus on her. I was going to focus on her.
All right, good.
Okay, because here's part of what happens for me in the book. I feel bad. I feel bad that because recognition is so, I don't know, I think it's important that we recognize people and what they've contributed to us. It'd be like having children and you die and the children never knew you loved them, that kind of thing, And in her case, she didn't do anything wrong. In her case, just simply being Jewish made her, oh my gosh, almost all of her work was decided that's not worthy, right?
Well, I don't know it was because she was Jewish, because there were an awful lot of Jewish people who did receive a Nobel Prize. So Einstein was Jewish.
Jewish
made it,
Germany.
She had to leave Germany because it was during the Second World War. She made that really dramatic escape, which put her a little bit out of sync with the people who were working on splitting the atom, and that's what happened to her. Although she certainly should have received that prize.
Right.
That's really unconscionable.
And
she would probably be even more appalled by the fact that she has been remembered as the mother of the atomic bomb, because she was so appalled that her discovery was used that way.
See, and I guess what I learned from you, because I didn't know anything about her first of all. So your book taught me anything I know. I learned it from you, what got to me about her case was that she had to abandon her laboratory. That's what I was trying to say.
Yes, isn't that awful? Yeah, and that was her life. That wasn't just her lab. That was her life.
So, I mean, if we are throwing people under the rug, not the bus, but the rug, trying to hide them, is it because of patent claims? Is it because of prejudices? What is it?
Well, I think that these stories all are forgotten as far as they're forgotten for different reasons. I mean, for instance, Verbiest's science never went anywhere. He was still using Tycho Brahe's theories, which didn't go anywhere. So that is a story for the story's sake. It's not because he contributed to science. Benjamin Thompson is known a little bit. He's one of the most interesting people in this book. He was a spy for the British in the American Revolution. He undermined the caloric theory of heat a little bit too early. Sometimes discoveries come a little too early, before science is ready for them, and somehow they get forgotten in that way.
Yeah.
Mary the Jewess, well, she goes way back, first century, second century A.D., remembered for all the wrong reasons, and in a way, Maria Sibylla-Marian too, remembered, but for the wrong reasons.
And tell me her story. Could you talk a little bit about her?
Maria Sibylla-Marian?
Yeah.
Yes, she was. She lived. She was one of the first people to study metamorphosis in the field of ecology, which didn't exist at that time.
Wow.
She drew marvelous pictures of the insects and the flowers, and the most remarkable thing about her, I think, was that in 1700, this was a woman who sailed from Europe to America to Brazil. To continue her studies of insects and plants there. She and her daughter did that. You imagine what kind of courage that took, what kind of dedication and focus to make you want to do that?
Yeah.
That's one of the things I think that characterizes a lot of these people, the passion they had, this focus, this passion, this single-mindedness of their pursuit of their science. And that is one of the things that ties them all together.
And you have to go against social mandates in some cases, especially if you're a woman. You have to say, I don't care if you say, I'm not supposed to do this, I'm going to do it, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's right. I mean, and risk your life, as some of these people did. It's kind of astounding.
How many scientists are in the book?
Astonishing Tales is good. Yeah. Go ahead.
Is it 10? Is it 10 scientists in the book?
It's 10 stories. That's right.
10 stories. Okay. What's interesting is some of the science that we take for granted, we think we know. Well, here's the question I think I wanted to ask. Did these people? I know in some cases they worked alongside the known names, like Wallace did with Darwin. But what about the ones who laid the groundwork, who maybe they didn't even know the one who's the better known person? You know what I mean? Are there any of those?
I'm trying to think about that. I think what's interesting is you find a good example of that in the story of Milutin Milankovitch, who was considered sort of the father of the astronomical theory that explains the ice ages and the way they're actually linked to the Earth's orbit. What's forgotten in that story are the people who came before him, that he could not have done that work without them. James Crow was one of the names. Louis Agassiz, which he's known, but not hugely. These things often depend on a number of people like that. When Jacques Dotteroche made his journeys to measure the transit of Venus, there were 150 other people doing that at the same time, some of whom succeeded, some less well. He was one of the best. So there are lost stories behind the lost stories.
This is a fascinating book, Kitty. I wish we had more time. I know we have to run. You've got a lot of interviews to do. For our listeners, I know we've got an amazingly intelligent audience. You will love this one. It's called Lost Science. Kitty Ferguson is the author. Call me if you want the copy that was sent to me. I will put your name on it, leave it here. The rest of us have to go buy it. Kitty, real quickly, do you have a website?
Yes, I do. It's kitty-ferguson.com.
Okay, kitty-ferguson.com, and I'm guessing the book is wherever books are sold?
That's right, it is.
Okay.
Should be out there.
Thank you so much, Kitty. That was awesome. We will be right back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. On this Wednesday, a mix of clouds and sunshine and warm with a high of 81 on the coast, 86 inland. Partly cloudy skies Wednesday night, lows in the upper 50s and low 60s in the coolest inland spot to about 70 along the coast. Thursday and Friday, more sun than clouds and warm with a high on Thursday, 81 at the coast, 86 inland. Friday's high, 82 on the coast, approaching 90 well inland. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Hi, I'm Seth with AA Lock, Dock, and Security. Have you ever thought about the locks or security on your house or business? Have you ever wondered why the keys to your new car cost so much? Well, at AA Lock, Dock, and Security, we can help with securing your valuables. We can even replace those expensive transponder keys. We can give you the knowledge that no one else will. Call AA Lock, Dock, and Security at 867-1965. That's 867-1965.